Hey, how you doing? I wasn't sure if that was working then, but it is. It is. We are live. Well, I am live, and you are here with me. So thank you for that. Today is part 4 of mapping out your business goals. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about or have missed the first 3, let me just give you a quick recap. You can, of course, go back and watch all of the series. You can do it on Instagram, on YouTube, or as a podcast. So if you need a bit of inspiration, a bit of clarity, a bit of reflection time, grab a piece of paper and a pen. This is going to be really great for you. So on day 1 on Tuesday, I spoke about your big business goals, where you're going, what you want to create, etc. Day 2 was all about where you are right now. So what's going on and being really honest about that, but in a very helpful, considered, compassionate way. Yesterday, we then talked about the bit in between. So digging a little bit deeper, really getting into it and really noticing almost like those obstacles along the way that may be preventing you from moving forward. And for me, when I do this work, sometimes it's the same old stuff again and again and again. And just when I think, oh, I've got that sorted now, I don't even worry about that anymore, or that old limiting belief is long gone, you'd be surprised, or maybe not, how often it pops up to say hello. Right, today is part 4. And today I want to help you formulate a bit of a plan and some specifics. And again, day 2 and 4 are the bits where you're invited to do something, to take another step. And I know how easy it is personally to stay in that sort of vague stage and not take the action, because sometimes talking about it or thinking about it is much more exciting and less scary than actually doing it. So here we go today. We're going to dig into some of the areas that we have been speaking about. And in terms of your money, this is the first area that we're going to be going to in terms of where you go next. So I am using a goal for the purposes of this series between now and Christmas. But you may want to use between now and the end of September, or until half term, or however you would like to do this. I want you to get into the specifics and make some decisions around your money. So one of the things that I've got is, and these are second hand because I can't bear to buy them from the shops because I know they're not great for the environment, but I do hold on to them for years. I am creating a new filing system for my accounts. Ever since we moved house, which was 18 months ago, yep, you're right, my accounts have just felt like they needed consolidating a little bit. I mean, everything is where it should be kind of legally, but in terms of organization, my system is no longer working for me. So I'm going to be spending some time doing that. So when I'm talking about specifics, I want you to give yourself some kind of plan or action or step or to do that is going to move you forward. Now, that might not be an exciting, like, I'm going to take the action of putting my receipts into my filing system, but you can make it more enjoyable. You can put Netflix on, you can do it on a day with some lovely snacks and a cup of tea or whatever it is, or send them to somebody else to do that. But this is about becoming this person that you actually want to be. And I'm really trying to close this gap for my clients at the moment and really center it in. I think sometimes when we make these goals, they're very lofty, they feel a long way away. And actually, most of these times, these goals live within us. We know what we want to do. We feel connected to it. So now it's just about nurturing it and watering the situation. I then want you to play around with, in terms of the money, what does that look and feel like in terms of the specifics? So I do want you to go into some numbers and not just say things like, I want to earn a 6-figure business or a 7-figure business by Christmas. I know that that's probably exciting to say those sorts of numbers. But if we can support ourselves, like our practical where we are right now and our future self, and bring them into the middle for a little do-si-do, that's when we're going to see results. So your future self might be like, yeah, right, 100 grand, let's go. But you might need to spend a little bit more time actually getting ready for that process. So if you want to write big numbers or small numbers, I then want you to begin work after that. So this is about saying, how could I, first and foremost, and then very quickly, once you've explored these ideas, is what am I going to do? What is the plan here? And I want you to do the simplest thing. And I know sometimes simple isn't sort of seen as very sexy or anything like that, but I tell you what, if you can simplify it, you're more likely to do it, and then you're more likely to do other things following on from that. If you make everything so complicated and so many variables and so many things you have to consider, it's probably going to consume you before you actually get going and you see the results that you want. So simplify. Once you do one thing, it's like an IKEA furniture project. You know, I know we want to skip to the other stuff and go, I'm just going to hold this and then nail it in from here. You have to build those internal things sometimes. You have to put those pins in place. You have to create it very deliberately. Next, I want you to think about lifestyle and feelings. And what is this going to take? Now, I don't believe these feelings or lifestyles just happen overnight. And I'm also not going to suggest that they are a feeling for just 5 minutes or just 2 minutes. This is about consistently, where you can, feeling good and being that person, being in that state. And so one of the things that I thought about was, so I give blood on a regular basis. This was a goal that I set for myself last year. And I've just given my 4th lot. And every time I do it, I always then put the next one in, and then it's done and I know what I'm doing. So I booked my final one of the year a day after the kids break up from school. So the other day, and because I'm going back to my goals of what do I want my holiday time to look like, what do I want my term time to look like, I want to have that last working day of the year feeling. So I actually close things down. I want to take my kids to the theatre. I want to go and do stuff. I don't want to feel like I'm cramming things in. I don't want to work on Christmas Eve. I've done all of that sort of stuff for years. And if I go back to that feeling and that lifestyle, I really want to have my business set up by that point, and I'll keep you posted as we go, because let's see, shall we? I want to have it in a place where it not necessarily runs itself, but I'm not kind of chasing it the whole time. And so already I was saying, okay, I'll go and give blood on that day, but we'll all go into town. We'll go and look at the Christmas lights. We'll go to our favourite bakery, which is Crumbs and Doilies. If you don't know that, do check it out. I had Gemma on the podcast a little while ago. And we'll go to Carnaby Street. All the lights will be amazing. And then we'll go to a restaurant that my son wants to go to. So all of these things, I was thinking, yeah, that would be so exciting. But then when I was tuning in with that lifestyle, that feeling, I was thinking, well, what do I want to do at October half term? What's that sort of thing? Because in a way, December felt like a long way away then. And if I'm tuning in with the feelings and the lifestyle, I actually want to bring that forward. So by putting that one thing in, it's almost sparked lots of other things of like, oh, I want to do that. Oh, I want to change this. I want to go and visit my friend. I want all of these sort of lifestyle feelings. And again, it's one of those things that once you have done one, like the only thing really that I've done, or two things. for that last day of the working of the year is I booked the blood appointment and I've told my children what we're doing. So that's it in terms of commitment. Like that is done. That's all groovy. But I haven't booked anything else. And there are so many other things that we can start to pencil in, start to create a bit of a structure in your calendar and get things moving and shaking. Customers and clients, who are they? And what is your plan to actually welcome more in? I've spoken about this on the podcast for 5.5 years now, nearly 6. There is no point just putting get more customers on your to-do list or make more sales or market more. It doesn't help you and it doesn't encourage the customers to come and find you. We have to be practical. So what daily actions are you going to take in your business to consistently have conversations with people? And that can be through a piece of content. That can be getting on the phone. That can be, right, I'm going to book 2 networking events this month and I'm going to get myself out there. I'm going to put on a bra. I'm going to showcase my business. Great, I'm going to do that. Another thing I wanted to add just in terms of customers is you probably don't need as many as you might think. I think in order to make significant profit growth in your business, sometimes there's this feeling that we need thousands and millions and we need to be on billboards, and we don't. You can probably do it with a very small number of actual paying clients. Now, in terms of statistically, you probably need a bigger audience. So it's not just a case of having 10 people in a room and go, oh, great, 10 people are going to buy. You might need 100 people in a room and then 10 people would buy. But it may not be millions and millions. So again, don't overwhelm yourself. Don't assume that it's not for you. It is for you and you can do this. Ease and logistics. I am having a change around in this room. I don't know if it's happening this weekend. I just don't know. But there are some things that need a rejig. I mean, you can see my tripod here in the background. We were doing some self-tapes in here yesterday. But I just need a better system. I need to clean things up a little bit. It's not filthy, but it's just like the stuff that doesn't need to be here. And I need a better system. I need like a process. Like when I get this thing, it goes here and it doesn't just kind of, I don't know if you have that with your home. Like we've got lots of kind of little stairs in ours, and like I'll put it here, and then I'll take it down and then I'll put it on the side, and I'm moving this same piece of paper around. So ease and logistics, what are you going to do and how can you begin that process today? I know all those declutterers are brilliant and they'll say things like set a timer for 10 minutes and see what you can do, see what progress you can make. I sometimes do that with ironing, because ironing, and I know people are like, you iron? Yes, I do, because I like that feeling personally of opening up my wardrobe and my kids' wardrobes and Mattie's. Yes, I do Mattie's as well. But that everything is ironed, everything is clean and ready to go. I never want to be running around and doing things last minute. It's just not the way that I like to do things. But that ironing pile can get really overwhelming. So sometimes I'll just set, this is my rock and roll lifestyle, right? Sometimes I'll just set a timer and go, for the next 10-15 minutes, I'm going to iron as much as I can. And already it just feels clearer and cleaner, etc. Knock your own socks off. I had a moment last week when something in my business really happened quick and with ease. And my temptation, or maybe somebody else's temptation, might have been to go, oh, well, that was just a fluke. That was just a one-off. Like, no, you got lucky. And I started playing around with this idea. So I've mentioned this topic of knocking my own socks off and just thinking, I am not dreaming big enough. I need to work on my mindset and play around with the idea, hi Kerry, that this could be easy. And I think sometimes I've made things a lot harder than I've really needed them to be. And I'm not quite sure why that is. Maybe I will take that to a therapy session one day. Let's see, shall we? But knocking your own socks off. I think so often we can limit ourselves and say, well, you know, I've had a bit of success there, so I shouldn't ask for any more. Or I don't know, I'm not ready yet. Usually people do that after they've been doing 20 years in that. And I'm not saying like leapfrogging the queue or the process or anything like that, but sometimes there are things that you can do very, very quickly to tighten things up or to get the ball rolling. There's often that moment where you might come to like moving house or something like that, and you might look on the first instance and go, oh, I don't know, like the process is always so long. And then what you might do is you might walk down your local high street and go, actually, that flat's really lovely, or that house is really lovely, and that's within our budget. And we don't really like that sofa, so we're not worried about that sofa fitting in there. Like we could pass that sofa on, and then all of a sudden things start to move forward, and it can happen really, really quickly. So when it comes to knocking your own socks off, I want you to think about what that is for you and what that is all about, and really making some bold moves. And if you need inspiration, if you want to read books, like invite yourself to be inspired, to get curious, to tap in with that big dreaming part of you. It's quite different from the part of you that sits at your desk. That's what I will say. So make sure you've got some dreaming, some strategy, some imagining, some visioning time in your week. And it's not wasted time. If you spend time in that place, whether it's meditation, whether it's yoga, whether it's thinking about something, sometimes I'll walk and I'll play through a scenario in my head of like, oh, what would happen? Oh, that would be great. And then I almost like write out the scenario, but in my head, or sometimes I speak it out if the roads are quiet. But yeah, that is in itself, it's so useful, because what you do is you just slowly start to create space for it, and it's much easier in the end than you think it might be. The final one, who do you need to be? Who do you need to become in terms of this future self version? Now, this is not, oh my goodness, I'm got to be a person who is perfect, or I've got to do everything with full face of makeup, or any of that sort of stuff. I'm not talking about those things. I'm talking about those moments where you have an opportunity to change something by 5 or 10%. And this can sometimes look like actually clearing the kitchen properly every night before you go to sleep. When I do that, when that kitchen is spotless and it's done after dinner, my whole morning changes the next day. The way that I make my tea in the morning, I am usually first up, so I love that time in the morning. And I just find it really grounding and opening, and it's lovely. However, I will usually get through 80% of that and go, oh, it's fine, I'll do that in the morning. So something like that, that's a huge tweak. If I can just do 5 minutes more on something, it honestly will change my morning the next day. Likewise, things like doing what you say that you're going to do. And it can be really easy to get into a pattern of like, oh, sorry, I was going to send you that thing. Oh, I'm always late. Oh, I meant to text you. Sorry, I've been really busy. Notice these behaviors, these habits, these conversations that are not in service to your future self. You get to decide. You get to decide what or who you hang on to right now. And one of the things that I did yesterday was I've done 2 self-tapes this week for various auditions, and one of them, the deadline was 10 a.m. Today is Friday. And I had half an hour spare yesterday. And I went through that, oh, well, the deadline's not till tomorrow. Well, I could do it in the morning after the school run. And I stopped and I said, no, you've done your hair this morning. You have the time, you have the space. There were no children at home. Get it done, get it in. And the fact that this morning knowing that I had clients and people that I needed to see and things I needed to do, I had that space yesterday. And this morning, knowing that my work is already done and that is in the bag, or in the can as they say, that made me feel so good. And my future self is very happy with those choices. I know that's a bit of a weird thing to say. Finally, I want to say to you, where do you want to be in the next 30 days? Because from the 18th of September, so not next Monday, the Monday after, I am opening up a very small number of places to work with me. I said this to a client the other day, intensively. I don't want you to think like, oh my gosh, like, will she leave me alone? Like, it's not intrusive, it's not pushy or anything like that. But it is a relationship where we go for 30 days. So it includes pre-work of me getting to know your business, where you're up to, what's going on for you, and then me going away and prepping for our time together. I also give you any online resources that you might need. We also have one-on-one time, so we can do that in central London or North London where I live, or we can do it online, because I know that everybody is international, living their lives, doing all of that. So we'll find a time zone if you're outside of the UK that will work for both of us. And then here is the sprinkles. Here is the glitter gun to go. Right, let's go for this. It's 30 days where each and every day we move forward on your goal, your vision, all of the things that we've just spoken about, the stuff that you're trying to bring to life, the person that you are becoming. And because I work often in this way, each and every day I carve out specific time in my diary to get back to all of my one-on-one clients. And knowing, for you, I think it's important to say that knowing if you're a client, that you've got somebody at the other end of the phone saying, I am here holding space for your dreams, what you're doing, and to keep you on track. And again, that's not like, what have you done? Have you sent that email? Has that happened yet? But it's slowly but surely incremental steps. I know how easy it is to go on a one day in seminar or workshop and get loads of notes and go, oh, right, okay, well, that was really interesting. I want it to be interesting, of course, but I also want you to get the absolute brilliant results that you want. And it can happen fast. That's why I'm saying 30 days, because in your head, it won't feel too frightening because it's just there. 30 days is around the corner. Somebody said it, they only went back on Wednesday. It'll be half term in a minute. And we know this, time moves very quickly. So if you want to find out more about that, if you want one of those few spaces, it's £500 all in, I should say the price as well. And I'm with you, side by side by side. We will do this for 30 days. Also in that process, if you are building stuff, if you are sending pitch emails, if you are building out a new offering or whatever, part of that email support is that you get to have that accountability. You also get to have my eyes and ears on it. So if you're like, does this make sense? Is it clear who I'm talking to? How about the price? We can workshop every part of it. And so by the end of the 30 days, we will then be referring back to, okay, what did you want to do here? Where are we going next? If that is of interest, go to my events page, not my events page, so sorry, How I Help page, which is just nickyraby.com/work with me. But you can just go to the navigation bar. If you click on the How I Help, scroll down, this monthly strategy session is the yellow one. You need to go quite far down the page, but you'll see it, you can pay, you can sign up, and we can get going. So maybe I will see you week commencing 18th of September. What I will say to finish off is don't wait. Don't wait any longer. If you've enjoyed this series, if things are bubbling and whirring, don't let your mindset tell you, oh, it's not the perfect time though, or I haven't, oh, there's too much to do. There is, but if you can find 5 minutes in your day, do take the time to write down notes. So even if you're absolutely up to your eyes at the moment, if you have an idea, make sure you have somewhere to put it. That's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me and being part of this, and I will catch you again next week. Lots of love. Bye.